most companies that are selling into CROs, a lot of them have felt that CROs just have no budget anymore right now, right? Like they're just being told, rip things out, cut people down. And there's some fundamental things that they're allowed to spend on, but CFOs are not giving CROs a lot of space to sell. And you sometimes hear something often enough that you start believing it, and it dictates a lot of your behavior. So this is a really interesting like point of view that might give some energy to people that are selling into CROs but thinking that they're running uphill with the wind in their face. Have you noticed that people have budget, and what type of conversation is working? Like, tell us a
Yeah.
bit about that.
I want to contrast your question you just asked to the way you prefaced the question to Sam a couple of minutes ago about what happens if rates start tapering down a little bit and people start popping their heads up a little more and like, things kind of shift from the mentality of, the post ZERP era. I think what's interesting is like the pain cycle in SaaS in particular always lags the market reality by at least 12 months because of annual contracts. So like if everybody on the planet spends a year doing sequential layoffs after layoffs after layoffs, on the last day of the last layoff, a layoff happened that maybe happened a day after an annual contract got signed. And it's only 11 months and 30 days later when you have that next renewal conversation with that account that is a post-layoff conversation, right? So as long as the pain is happening over some period of time in kind of the primary macroeconomic driven, like main thruster of bad times and like the SaaS apocalypse, the companies that are selling into those businesses will experience a ripple effect of that pain that amounts to that time period plus 11 months and 30 days. Because you're going to have to live through the pain cycle of that first renewal post whatever that terrible event was. So like it's been rough. It's been rough in SaaS because not only are you experiencing like the protective, proactive, almost like pre-morning of budgets and flexibility early on in that pain cycle in late 21, early 22 as rates start to come up, but you're still feeling it. A lot of companies are still feeling it right now, not because the market's been bad. The NASDAQ's been ripping. Like earnings reports are looking like really, really hot in most of SaaS right now. But many companies that are kind of on that cycle, it still kind of feels like a grind day to day, right? I still talk to CEOs all the time who are like, I think I'm going to quit. I think I'm going to find a home for this company, or I want to like hire in a professional CEO to come and do it. And like, that's an everyday conversation because it's been hard and it has felt twice as long as it's been, but it's actually been a pretty long time. So I return to like, I say that all to say that like the experience of it feeling really crappy out there is a lagging indicator of the potential for there to actually be a new normal and a light at the end of the tunnel where there's actually some uptick. So if you're going to get into a market like say selling into sales teams, when's the best possible time to get in? It's at the nadir, right? It's like if the sales teams are at their smallest and companies are at their most conservative and they have cut down to the bone, but the market signals are actually starting to tell them, okay, rates are gone. They'll never go, God willing, they'll never go to zero again because I don't know what would require that to come on. But they'll stabilize. They're not going to continue increasing this year. And by the way, people are buying software again. Guess what's about to happen? A bunch of people are about to hire a bunch of sales reps. And that means the same thing that murdered everybody's seats and compressed all their seats in the last 2 or 3 years and made everybody say, oh, sales tech's a bad market or selling into sales is a bad market. They're all about to look like they were completely wrong. And people are, this is going to flip on its head in 12 months because like the tide is rising again. And it may not rise to where it was at its peak, but the directionality is like, I think we've passed the bottom a little bit.